I want revenge, but I gotta watch over your 10. Plus I got two myself, can't raise them from inside of a pen. I miss pulling up, seeing you grin. Even in disagreements, always prayed on seeing you win.
If you like the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell.
Alright y'all, we back with another one. And today we gonna speak about Jamel Benson, aka Sparks.
Jamel Benson was born on September 28, 1985 in Wilmington, Delaware. Jamel was from the north side section of Wilmington, specifically 30th Street, which is a popular street in the city. Being a young man born in the mid-'80s like a lot of others, Jamel naturally had a passion for rap music. He went by the name Sparks and recorded songs in local recording studios or home studios, pressed CDs, and sold them independently. Band shot on same block as three others. A 25-year-old Wilmington man was shot late Friday by a gunman in a passing car while standing in a block where three men were shot the previous night. One fatally, city police said. The shooting, about 11:30 p.m. Friday, occurred just hours after more than 100 friends and relatives of 22-year-old Jamel Benson, the man killed Thursday night, held a vigil on the block. Besides Thursday's triple shooting in the 800 block of West 8th Street, two men were shot elsewhere in separate incidents that night, with one man, 21-year-old Omar Kennard, in critical condition after being shot in the head. A family mourns. Crystal Johnson delivered a powerful prayer the night after her cousin Jamel Benson was gunned down on the porch of a home in Wilmington last month. Amid the more than 100 who gathered at the candlelight vigil on a corner near where he was gunned down, she prayed for the lives of the young black men staring back at her. "It's taking away our young black men," she said of the violence in her city recently. "It's like a curse, so to speak. It's senseless." Jamel Benson was Wilmington's 11th homicide victim in 2007. Benson, 22, was standing on the porch of a home at the corner of the 800 block of West 8th Street when an unknown gunman pulled up in a car and sprayed bullets at him and his friends. Benson was struck several times in his chest. His two companions, both 22, were shot but survived. "It kills everyone else in a sense," Johnson said. "It's like a family is being taken apart." Even with a decrease in the number of homicides in Wilmington, for 2007, Johnson said she cannot see it. She hears the gunshots and reads the paper. "That's not significant to me because it should be zero," said Johnson. 13 homicides is 13 too many. Benson was rushed to Christiana Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Two friends, both 22, were also shot and taken to area hospitals by private drivers. Police have no suspects in custody for those shootings. Sharon Dollard hasn't had a full night's sleep since November 29, 2007, the day her son was killed. Her employer understands and gave her time off to deal with the loss. Family members, also concerned, continue to gather daily around her dining room table or on one of her comfortable sofas. In her living room, Dollard displays a picture of her son, Jamel Benson, that shows him wearing a baseball cap but not looking directly into the camera. Dollard keeps it there because she needs justice. Benson, the elder of her two children, was shot several times when he was on a porch at 8th and Monroe Streets in Wilmington. He lay there bleeding to death for at least 20 minutes. Police say a lone gunman cut Benson down while injuring two of his friends. There have been no arrests. "They got me ready to take it to the streets," Dollard said recently in her Wilmington home. Her reaction and ongoing grief are typical, therapists and police say, among people who lose loved ones in cases such as homicides or car accidents that go unsolved. 14 homicides were reported in Wilmington in 2007, compared with 20 in 2006. Each year, about half of those cases go unsolved, Wilmington Communications Director John Rago said. In Newcastle County, there were 11 homicides last year. Family gets tips. Sharon Dollard, whose son was shot on the porch, said she awoke in the middle of the night recently after her son's face came to her in a dream. He said, "The people who did this are right around you," Dollard said. She didn't understand what that meant at the time, but learned quickly. Shortly after Benson was killed, a stranger approached his sister and said he knew who killed her brother. Apparently, others on the street also know. Dollard believes her son was set up and that the person who shot him was looking for 3 of his friends who were not with him that night in retaliation for a robbery and shooting a few weeks earlier. He wasn't with them when they robbed them, Dollard said. They called my house the morning after looking for him, but he was asleep. What angers Dollard the most is that the close childhood friends who she thinks the shooter was looking for, people who have made several appearances at her home, where they ate her food and smiled in her face, know who shot her son, but won't admit it. Family members often offer support. Sharon Dollard of Wilmington and her family wore matching shirts with a photo of her son, 22-year-old Jamel Benson, looking relaxed and talking on a cell phone, topped by the words, "In loving memory." Their group included his sister, a recent high school graduate who took him to her prom last year, and his only child, 4-year-old, too young to understand how her older relatives wait, hope, and pray for justice. Wilmington. Slaying suspect extradited. A 27-year-old Philadelphia man was brought to Delaware Tuesday to face charges in a 2007 murder. Vincent McCants of the 5600 block of Apple Tree St. was captured in June. He was wanted in the fatal shooting of 22-year-old Jamel Benson. McCants was charged with first-degree murder and 6 other offenses and is being held without bail in Young Correctional Institution. Wilmington shooting. Slaying sentence angers relatives. Manslaughter plea brings 5 years. By Sean O'Sullivan, The News Journal. Wilmington. Sharon Dollard does not understand how a man who once faced a possible death sentence in the killing of her son could be allowed to plead no contest to manslaughter and be freed in 3 years. Dollard said people who get caught selling drugs are sentenced to 20 years. People who rob someone get 8 years, and people who just shoot a gun and don't hit anyone can get 5 years. "I just can't believe it," she said. Vincent McCants, 28 of Philadelphia, at one time could have faced the death penalty in the slaying of 22-year-old Jamel Benson just over 3 years ago. But on Thursday, in a plea deal with prosecutors, he admitted to manslaughter, with the state recommending a sentence of 5 years in prison. Because McCants has been incarcerated since June 2008, he could be free in less than 3 years. Prosecutors said this week they believe McCants was out for revenge, but did not specify why. 2 others with Benson were also hit but survived, and police initially told Benson's family that one of the other victims was likely the intended target. On Monday, Superior Court Judge Mary M. Johnston asked Deputy Attorney General Allison Textor how a case could go from a death penalty prosecution to one where the defendant was offered a plea of manslaughter and a 5-year sentence. Textor told Johnston that a lack of cooperation from some witnesses in the passage of time weakened the state's evidence. Textor said some cooperating witnesses, who would have helped the state's case, have since been arrested or now have felony records that likely would undermine their credibility before a jury. Ultimately, Johnston said, there is a difference between what we know and what we could prove at trial. The case had been set to go to trial in Superior Court this week. McCants' attorney, Peter N. Latang, said the state's case had been weak from the start, and witnesses who identified McCants were not very strong. Latang said his client only agreed to plead no contest, which is not an admission of guilt, but an acknowledgement that the state was likely to prevail at trial because of the serious potential penalties he faced if he went to trial. In court, before Johnston imposed a sentence, Benson's family told the judge how the loss of Benson devastated the family. Benson's 6-year-old daughter addressed the court, but at the mention of her father, she broke down into uncontrollable sobbing and had to be taken out. She She stated that since the loss of her son, she's had to take medication to sleep at night, and the family no longer celebrates holidays because they are just too painful without Benson. At one point, several people in the courtroom were ejected after someone began taunting the family. Johnston actually imposed a 25-year sentence with 20 years suspended. That means if McCants gets in any trouble in the 20 years after he is released, he could be sent back to prison to serve the remainder of his sentence. Jamel Benson, in loving memory of Sparks Reap shining down on us. Love your daughter Mutt, grandmother Uncle Ricky, Aunt Robin and Tia, mom and cousins. Gone but not forgotten. I know Pop is watching you. You will remain in our hearts forever. Jamel Benson, my baby dad. Your wife misses you so much. Our daughter has grown so much in this past year since you've been gone. I wish you were here with us. But now we're stronger than ever. We'll see you soon. Never forgotten and always loved by your baby mom, Butter.
Rest in peace, Jamel S. Benson, aka Sparks.
Thanks for watching. We really do appreciate if you subscribe, like, and leave a comment.
What it is, my nigga. Every time I see your kids, I shed a tear, my nigga. Seen Mirror the other day, he getting big, my nigga. Lil' two not breathe, woo, act just like you. I ain't gonna lie, cause this shit hurt. Seeing the pain in their trudy eyes, that just made this shit work.